Welcome to a session on basic concepts in operations management. The session is arranged in terms of 5 components. First, an introduction, then an effort to demarcate between production and operations management, a look at the functions of operations manager, and a brief overview of the rich and varied heritage of operations management, followed by major decision areas in operations. Here in the discussion we can have 2 topics or 2 components in the title. So let's start with a famous quote from Marcel Tellers, a reputed Brazilian investor and businessman. A company can seize extraordinary opportunities only if it is very good at the ordinary operations. So we are coming to the major theme of this session, which is operations management. And you can see that the title consists of 2 words. One is operations, other one is management. First, let's make an attempt to define both these components. What is management? Management is the art of getting things done through and with people with efficiency and effectiveness. So from this very simple definition we can see the salient features of management. It is an art. It is an art of doing things done through and with people. That means there is an element of teamwork in accomplishing the stated objectives of the organization. And also while performing the task, you need to look at 2 crucial outputs. One is efficiency, the other one is effectiveness. Efficiency means getting things right, and effectiveness means getting right things. So when we say efficiency, the focus is on the input and its appropriate usage through right processes. And when we say effectiveness, you are looking at the output that you are getting through the transformation process of the inputs. So in management, we make an attempt to convert inputs into outputs through a process. Management of organization consists of 5 functional areas that focuses on distinct aspects. First one is marketing. Marketing means managing demand. The demand management is typically done in terms of manipulating the 4 P's like product, price, place and promotion, which are widely known as marketing mix. The second area is operations, which is typically concerned with creation of product. The third area, finance, by and large focuses on the money part of the organization, whereas human resources are very crucial as well as a critical area in the contemporary environment, focuses on managing people. So in order to take decisions pertaining to marketing, operations, finance and human resources, we need quality information. And the 5th functional area, information system, furnish the quality information needed for managerial decision making in the other 4 functional areas such as marketing, operations, finance and HR. So we can conclude that operations is one among the 5 major functional areas in management. Now what is operations? So now let's make an attempt to define operations. You may be more familiar with the term production, which has been traditionally used in organization. Production is concerned with creation of goods and services. it is extremely important to have a look at these two terms, goods and services, and in what way it is related to the term product. We can simply say that a product is a combination of good element and service element. The good element is tangible, whereas the service element is intangible. For example, if you go to a hospital, the infrastructure there, the building, the parking area, the registration counter, and all the tangible physical things, that is the good element. Whereas the healing you get, the communication of the doctors or paramedics, the way they interact with you, all these constitute the service component of the product. So simply we can say that a product is a combination of good element and service element, and production is typically concerned with creation of a product. Now, what is operations? Operations is a term that has replaced the term production, maybe in recent times. Operations management is the set of activities that create value in the form of goods and services by transforming input into output. So in operations function also we can see the conversion of input into output through a process. For example, you consider the construction of a bicycle. What are the inputs there? You are having some standardized parts and components which can be termed as material. Then you have skilled people, you have a facility, you are investing money, and also you are spending time. Maybe these are the inputs, and the raw materials or parts and components are assembled. That is the transformation process, and finally you get the finished good, that is a bicycle which you can ride straight away. So in operations you are making a value creation in the conversion process. Value creation in terms of cost reduction, quality improvement, determining the right quantity and attaining your target, creative utilization of your people. All this happens in operations function, which is entirely different from the traditional term which was used in the older manufacturing systems. So we may conclude that production is a primitive term which has gone under major transformation over centuries, maybe over 250 years in the past. It has imbibed many concepts, tools and techniques that facilitate value creation, and eventually the term production got replaced by a more meaningful, fruitful term called operations. So that is a definition for the term operations management, which is one among the 5 functional areas in management. So what are the functions of operations managers? What do they do in an organization? Like any other managers in other functional area, operations managers also need to perform the 5 basic functions of a manager, such as planning, organizing, staffing, leading and controlling. In this context, it is imperative to notice that there should not be any confusion between functions of a manager and functional areas in management. The functional areas are 5: marketing, finance, HR, operations and information system. And whatever may be the functional area, any manager need to do the basic functions, 5 functions such as planning, organizing, staffing, leading and controlling, and operations managers are not an exception to this basic role in any organization. Now let's have a look at the rich and varied heritage of operations management. We can have 3 distinct eras in the history of operations management, characterized by 3 different focuses. First one is cost focus, where the firms tried to minimize cost. In order to minimize cost of each and every unit, what all can be done. That was the focus of organizations for a longer period of time in the history of operations management that spread over some 250 years. The early concepts that spanned from 1776 to 1880 was characterized by concepts like labor specialization, mooted by Charles Babbage. The early concept that spans from 1776 to 1880 is characterized by concepts like labor specialization, mooted by Adam Smith and Charles Babbage, and standardized parts proposed by Eli Whitney. These concepts enabled organizations to reduce their cost of production considerably. Then the scientific management era that spread over 1880 to 1910 presented concepts like time and motion studies, proposed by Frederick Winslow Taylor and further enriched by Frank and Lillian Gilbert, the husband and wife. The Gantt chart proposed by Henry Gantt was another major contribution in the period of scientific management era. Then from 1910 to 1980, it was demarcated as the era of mass production. As you may be aware, in 1905, Henry Ford developed the concept of moving assembly line in order to make his historic product, Ford Model T. The statistical quality control, an important concept developed by Shewhart, an American engineer, and the concept of economic order quantity developed by Harris, and program evaluation and review technique and critical path method, which are together known as network techniques, developed by DuPont and US Navy, also has contributed to the mass production era immensely. So the cost focus basically believed in standardized products and its production in large volume in order to enjoy economies of scale. The second era in the history of operations management is anchored on quality focus, and that spans from 1980 to 1995. After World War II, Japanese, who got crumbled by the American and Allied forces, made an earnest attempt to rebuild their country. For that, they believed in the quality mantra that has been proposed by Americans like Shewhart and Deming. The Japanese, who tried to rebuild their country by popularizing and practicing the quality management concepts, set a new era in the history of management as well as operations function. In a short span of time, Japan, the country that tasted defeat by the hand of Americans, challenged America as well as their arch rivals in their home country by banking on quality philosophy. And three words grabbed the attention of the entire world, that is, made in Japan. So the Japanese quality revolution is summarized or termed as total quality management that consists of varied concepts, tools, and concrete techniques. Just-in-time is another interesting practice that was developed by the Japanese, which is an inventory control as well as a quality management tool. The invention of computers resulted in the extensive use of electronic data interchange, which was followed by the extensive application of IT tools in the form of computer-aided design, computer-aided engineering, and computer-aided manufacturing. all these help companies to fulfill the requirements of individual customer, which is the salient feature of quality management or quality focus. So we can see that in the cost focus era, firms were having internal focus. They tried to reduce the cost of production and minimize the cost of individual unit of a product without considering the desires or aspirations of end customer. Whereas in quality focus, there was a shift from a company-centered system to a customer-centered system, where customer was considered or recognized as the king. And quality means fulfill the requirements of customer, identify the requirement of customer and make an earnest attempt to fulfill the requirement of the customer. And all the concepts that we have discussed help organizations to fulfill the requirement of customer and delight the customer. The third distinct era in the history of operations management is termed as customization focus, where companies started looking at individual customer, or whether we can make products that fulfill the requirement of an individual customer. 100% customer-centered approach, is that possible? Time proved that that is also possible. But when you look at an individual customer, your process is not made to stock, as in case of cost focus. You are not stocking item, manufacturing and stocking item. In customization focus, you look at the individual customer and try to fulfill the requirement of individual customer through a process called make to order. You make the item as per the order, that is customization focus. And over a period of time, organizations learn to combine the benefits of mass production and customization, which is termed as mass customization era, that prevails from 1995 onwards. So at the same time, how you can combine the benefits of mass production and customization. For example, you take the case of a computer. You can order a computer with the specification that you desire. Maybe you go for a 4 GB RAM, an AMD Athlon processor, an 18-inch LED monitor, a 512 MB hard disk. Like that, you can have a combination or a specification. Another customer may be going for another combination or another configuration or specification. And in the present era, organizations happily fulfill the requirement of individual customer by combining standard parts and components, which is known as mass customization. So the production of the standard parts and components are done in large volume, enjoying the benefits of mass production. But the assembly of individual components, parts, make it a product that is suited to the needs of an individual customer. So a beautiful combination of the benefits of mass production and customization is being practiced by companies across the globe in the present era. E-commerce has redefined the way you do business. Instead of regional or national standards, you have international quality standards like ISO, International Organization for Standardization, and revolutionary softwares like enterprise resource planning that enable communication, coordination and collaboration among organizations across regional or national boundaries. So this is a rich and a beautiful heritage of operations management that consists of cost focus, quality focus and customization focus. Now we will have a look at the major decision areas in operations management. As we all are aware, the basic responsibility of a manager is decision making. What are the decisions that are being taken by an operations manager? We can classify it into 10 areas, such as product design, process and capacity design, layout design, job design, facility location, quality management, supply chain management, inventory management, scheduling, and maintenance. So let's have a brief look at each of these decision areas in order to gain familiarity with these. So the first area is product design. We know a product is a bundle of benefits. Any organization needs to design a product before it is being produced or manufactured. So the product design decision consists of two major questions. What are the benefits to be offered to the customer, and how we can provide the benefits? So that means first you need to identify the requirement of the customer through extensive research. Then you make an attempt, an earnest effort to fulfill those requirements in the form of the features that the product provides. That is product design. The next is process and capacity design. As we have already discussed, in operations management, we make an attempt to convert input into output through a transformation process. So now we need to design the transformation process. So we need to answer the question, what processes will require and in what order, and what equipment and technology is necessary for these processes. These two aspects come under process and capacity design, which is the second decision area in operations management. The third one is layout design. What is a layout? Layout is nothing but the utilization of cubic space. So layout design answers the questions. How should we arrange the production facility or the manufacturing facility or the service facility? How can we make the best use of cubic space? Then comes job design. This is an important area because it is extremely crucial to provide a reasonable work environment to people. And also we need to set targets for them. So here we ask two questions. What should be a reasonable work environment, and how much we can expect our employees to produce? Then comes facility location. Where should we locate our facility? It's a long-term decision. It is a complex decision to be taken in a global economy. So in location decision, we need to select a country, a region, then a site. That means where should the facility be located? The country decision, the region decision, and the site decision. For example, a multinational company select India, then maybe Karnataka, then Bangalore, or India, Kerala, Cochin. That is the facility location decision. And at each of these decision levels, that is a country, a region, or specific site, you have to consider a number of relevant criteria for selecting a location. There are different methods for facility location decision, and maybe we can have a detailed discussion on those aspects sometime later. Next area is quality management. Here we need to primarily identify the requirements of the customer. What the customer expects from you or your product, and how we can fulfill the requirements of the customer. Another important area, extremely relevant in the global economy of the present scenario, is supply chain management. Here we need to decide how to plan and source raw material, who all are your suppliers, and from where you can buy the required raw materials, services or supplies, and what should be your mechanism to deliver and return finished products. For example, in case of a fast moving consumer good, the supply chain consists of your supplier, manufacturer, transporter, wholesaler, retailer and customer. So this chain or web answer your questions related to the planning and sourcing of raw material to delivery and return of finished products. Inventory management comes next. Inventory is nothing but your money. In a typical cash cycle, you are converting your money into inventory, inventory into receivable, receivables back to cash. The effective and efficient management of this cycle is extremely important for the financial performance of the organization. So inventory management consists of two major areas. One is purchase, other one is stores. Related to purchase, you need to answer questions: how much to buy, when to buy, and from whom to buy. Related to purchase, you need to answer questions like how much to buy, when to buy, and who will buy. That is, the purchase quantity, period of purchase, and the persons responsible for purchase. Also, stores management decide the storage mechanism as well as the processes involved. So inventory management consists of purchase and stores. Scheduling is the next decision area in operations management. Put in simple terms, scheduling means the timing of activities. And activities of an organization need to be decided in terms of long term, medium term and short term. So what should be the timing of your activities in the operations process in long term, medium term and short term? And how to utilize your personnel and facilities in order to meet the varied demands of your customer. So next one is maintenance. As we are aware, any product or system is prone to wear and tear as we run it due to varied reasons. So we need to repair, recycle and replace parts and components. So that is the crux of maintenance function in operations management. Here again we need to answer the queries like how and when to tackle wear and tear, how to tackle wear and tear, and when to tackle wear and tear, and ultimately who is responsible for maintenance. So dear friends, these are the 10 major decision areas in operations management. And operations management as a body of knowledge offer varied concepts, tools and techniques that helps managers to take these crucial decisions. So in this session, first we had a look at the functional areas in management, the meaning of management as well as operations function. Also we discussed the functions or roles of operations managers. There was a brief overview on the rich heritage of operations management, followed by an elaboration on the 10 major decision areas in operations and the subsets coming under each of these. There are many resources for you to refer in order to enrich this basic discussion on the functional area operations management. There are many reputed textbooks, e-resources as well as other valuable. In order to enrich our basic discussion on the functional area operations management, you have access to a varied number of resources online as well as offline. So please make use of all these available resources and enjoy a fruitful learning. Thank you. Thank you very much.